Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Lerlyn Manilag, your reporter for today. So, have you ever used a mnemonic device just to make the learning process more effective to the students' end? Especially that science concepts have very difficult terms and processes and biological classifications. So, I know most of us have experience integrating music or have our teachers integrated music during our college years or up to up until today that we are teachers, we tend to apply this kind of strategy in making the learning process authentic, no? So we experience to make a jingle out of a science concept. And that is our focus or our topic for today's discussion, which is science songs. So, music is recognized as an effective mode of teaching our students. But as you can see, or as we have observed, this is rarely used strategy, especially in a university level science courses, right? So, science songs, aside from aiding memorization, songs may potentially improve our students' learning by um, helping students or our students feel relaxed and welcome in a stressful setting. So, also, our students will be more engaged in multiple modes and modalities simultaneously. It will also challenge our students to integrate and own the material through the medium of song lyrics, and it also increases students' time on task outside of class through enjoyable listening or songwriting assignments. So science songs may give or may let the students produce content-rich songs of good quality if given sufficient assistance and encouragement by instructors or peers. So next slide, we have a quote from Howard Gardner, which coined the multiple intelligence. No, so he said that the single most important thing in education is for each person to find at least one thing that he connects to, gets excited by, and feels more motivated to spend time with. So that's true, right? Dili ra sa and sa atong students, but also we teachers we have this kind of kanang attitude no nga we learn by kanang personal we learn personally if kanang na ma-excite ta or ma-feel na to nga motivated ta. So one of the most important gifts we can give to our students is a healthy foundation for a lifelong learning. We create many ways because of wanting to capture out students' excitement, bottle their enthusiasm, and give life to their imagination. And as educators, we look for resources. Excuse me. We look for resources that support and enhance these magical learning experiences. So, incorporating music into almost any class can be a great way to teach content. And take note that it doesn't take any special training or expensive resources. So, you might think that when you have this kind or when you choose this kind of strategy, you have to have a good skill in kanang singing. So, it's not no or it requires very kanang kuan nga mga instruments. So, dili. So it's up to you as teacher how to kanang effectively use this kind of strategy because many teachers kanang maulaw sila or they tend to shy away from including music in their classrooms because they presume that they need musical training to use music as a teaching tool. But however, there are multiple ways to implement music in the classroom that don't require any training. So you might be thinking, as you have heard the title na kanang science songs, I know a question have crossed in your mind. So what is music? No, we know music, but do we really know music, or how does music makes learning process more authentic, or how do we integrate science songs in the classroom, or how are we going to use science songs in our classroom? So as you can see, no, music speaks to the current generation of digital learners in novel ways. The students, or our students, kanang they're very technologically kanang aware, or they are kanang exposed digitally. So our students tend to kanang they have exposure kanang mo download og songs instantly from the internet, or tune into an MTV while studying, carry tunes with them to school on MP3 players, and listen to music while kanang working. So you see that science content music and can be I mean, science content music can be used to enhance learning if integrated into instruction effectively based on conceptual change research perspective. This includes elements from both cognitive and constructivist learning theories. So later on, I will discuss the connection of our brain uh, with regards to how we respond to music, or how are we going to kanang deliver this o type of strategy. So kung unsa ray angay na mga approaches nga ato ang na learn from our college days, kung unsa ray mga approaches nga uh, suitable for this kind of strategy. So again, science songs are rich in content and can be used to help our students engage or be more engaged. And kaning science songs, we tend to let our students construct knowledge in different ways. Um, uh, we all know that songs carry content information, no? Information in the lyrics, and have the potential to help our students become familiar, or mafamiliarize nila ang especially the language of science. So that is already an advantage of how science songs, if or that is an advantage when our students are exposed to this kind of strategy, which is science songs. So before we proceed, let me share with you a quick or brief history of music in the curriculum. First is, from the ancient times, music has been used as a device for learning and remembering information. So as you can see, or as we can recall, no, if you have observed or watched movies from kanang sa una nga mga settings, so music has been already used uh, for 1,000 of years. Knowledge was already imparted from generation to generation through the medium of singing and chanting. So sa ato ang mga ancestors, 'di ba, hilig kay na silang mga chanting, but kanang ilang chanting is not merely for enjoyment. So naay mga lessons ana, naay mga gusto nila na sabot. So when the earliest institutions for learning were established, music was already a part of their curriculum. So it is in part with along with the subjects such as science, astronomy, math, archery, and agriculture. So wala siya, makita na to no nga songs have always been part of an oral tradition sa daan pa lang sa una for passing down stories, history, um, information, and lessons throughout most pre-literate cultures. Naapoy ka ng mga stories and poems were sung by griots and kanang West Africa, if you have kanang heard about it, no? So next is what our main point is. So how do songs, or how does songs really affect learning, or our students' learning? So First, we have here, it states here that studies have shown that music produces several positive effects on a human's body and brain. So it shows that music activates both of our left and right brain, no, at the same time. And the activation of both hemispheres can maximize learning and improve our memory. So also musical activity is kanang nagserve na siya as a cognitive exercise for our brain. Nga kanang there is a tendency, or it trains our brain for more challenges in the future and are proven to give us a healthier brains, and kanang more likely to we are more likely kanang we are less na kanang likely to suffer from diseases nga Alzheimer's or dementia or something with kanang in relation sa ato ang memory. Next is several studies in recent years have linked music, memory, and emotion. So there was a study that I have read, no, that our emotions consistently affect attention and learning, and strengthens the neural network that encodes emotionally laden memories. So kanang we have this kanang experience, no. I know most kanang kita tanan ni agi ani when we are very emotional, or kanang grabe ang impact sa kanang nga situation emotionally sa ato, kay mas mahimo siyang memorable, right? Or given a scenario when it comes to the classroom setting, so kana mo maka-experience of ta ana um because the physiological response that the brain has when emotions are involved, learning and emotions yun kana sa ato mo kana is really intertwined. So our emotions are kanang biological responses to stimuli, and when our emotions is activated, it ensures that students will be more likely to attend to and remember the associated content. Um, when next is when okay let me recall lang sa ako ang basic knowledge with my anatomy na mo nga subject when it comes to nervous system, no. So when our kanang emotions are connected to sensory data, neural connections become stronger. For example, our humor or stories and songs are all excellent devices for activating an emotional response, getting attention and encoding multiple neural connections. So that is why we tend to crack jokes or tell side stories in a classroom setting, no, to activate or to catch the attention of our students. Next is the combination of melody and lyrics provide multiple neural pathways to store, access, and retrieve memories. When two events are linked together in memory, the recall of one prompts the other. So, recent advances in cognitive neuroscience have provided a wealth of information about the brain and how it encodes, stores, and retrieves information. Our human brain is divided into four different structures, right? Each with a unique role and brain function. So there are trillion nerve cells in our brain that allow for more than a quadrillion connections. It is these connections nga among neurons that form the matrix of our human memory within the brain's complicated structure. So somehow let me share with the basics or the basic concepts of kanang nervous system concepts nga ako na-learn, no, on how our neurons transmit information. Although wala na ko siya appeal na sa ako ang slide, but I hope I will impart or kanang maka-learn mo sa ako kanang sa kanang ako base ra sa ako ang ma-recall. So if you can still remember the most basic of brain structures is our brainstem, di ba, which lies at the base of our spinal cord and regulates our automatic body function. So our limbic system is found buried within our brain and is thought to be a structure that developed early in human 15 evolution, which is called the old mammalian brain. So this part of our brain is composed of four structures, which includes the thalamus, hypothalamus, hippocampus, and amygdala. So the thalamus, if you have no kanang forget its kanang function, this is where initial sensory input is first processed. If kanang natay makuan nga information. And this forwards or signals to the other parts of our brain and is involved in connecting our emotion and the way we think or our kanang cognition. So next is kanang our hypothalamus um regulates our hormones, no, and is a critical component to processing our memory is the hippocampus katong third nga ako ang na-mention of our brain structure. Kaning hippocampus i-convert niya ang information from working memory to long-term memory. So as kanang what I've said a while ago. So when memories are intertwined with our emotions, the amygdala is now kanang ma-activate na siya and it will encode or mo transfer siya or iyang i-classify as a long-term memory or iha na siyang i-store as long-term memory. So you see, no, that is how complicated science concepts are. So that sometimes nga we tend to forget their function if we did not really absorb very well sa kanang lessons. But through songs, no, through the integration of songs, we are able to learn them kanang in at ease, no, even in just pila ka minutes through music or through songs, ma-learn na nato siya. Unlike kanang mag-show lang og kanang mga concepts usahay, we don't have the gift to analyze or interpret rather the concepts given or kanang diagrams nga atohang makita kay mao na siyang pinaka-common sa in showing science concepts, no, or processes. So we tend to have fun in learning when we kanang integrate our learning with music, no. We can recall through it might be we can recall through the beat of the songs or songs we have heard or kanang most especially when it is us or kita mismo ang nag-create sa lyrics. I don't know if it's same sa inyo pero as to me, it is very effective. Especially sa adtong nag-review ko for our kanang lecturer ini aming gina-encourage na kanang for example we have this science concept so iya aming gina-encourage to make a tune or to make a beat out of that concept so that dali ra namo siya ma-recall or kung during nga kanang mag-take na may exam so to ease the kanang kuan usahay no we tend to have kanang mental block ta because dili ta maka-relax. So, kung imuha siyang kantahan, imuhang kuanan og beat, so murag makuan ka nga ma-relax and then ma-recall nimo kung unsa na tong mga imuhang na-store nga information. So, next is napa. Music provides a helpful mnemonic for verbal learning. So, mo ni ako ang giingon kagaina. So, we have used this we have used music as a mnemonic device for our or for recalling kanang amo ang kanang learning. So there was a study conducted, no, that subjects were asked to recall information presented either verbally or musically. So gi-compare nila ang effect if kanang ang teaching is through kanang lecture ra or gi-integrate or ilang gi-integrate with music, while kanang brain activity was monitored using EEG or electroencephalogram technology. So it showed that from the study, it indicates that our brain responds differently to music, and that music and 21 songs can be effective mnemonic devices for facilitating student engagement, which is cited by Peterson and Thought in 2007. So the use of science songs or science content music as a teaching strategy helps students understand, learn, and engage in science has been overlooked in research, no, as well as in the curriculum. So there were recommendations for implementation of science content music into the curriculum, which includes using simple o kanang catchy nga melodies nga i-emphasize the key ideas that are embedded in the lyrics, choosing songs that repeat the chorus at least 3 times and contain a bridge or humor or metaphor or other device for attention and surprise, so that we will catch the attention of our students or mahimo siyang catchy and more likely nga ma-familiarize sa students. Kaya di ba pag catchy ang isa ka sound or isa ka music kay magbalik-balik siya sa atong brain. So that's um, uh, how powerful a music is. So, science content music can provide analogies and insights to help students build networks of understanding in the final stage of instruction. So, songs can be played at any point in the learning process and can be the focus of a lesson or used to be pwede po siya mahimong supplementary or yes, supplementary to enhance and enrich learning. So, Um, science songs can be used to introduce a new content by asking questions related to the theme of songs presented in the engagement phase of instruction. So, pwede siya sa kanang motivation nga part or activity nga part. So, lyrics can be analyzed as one of a series of experiences designed to build understanding of a science concept during conceptual development stage of teaching. So when we use this effectively, science songs or music can help facilitate the process of conceptual change during several steps in our instructional sequence or transition nga tohang buhaton sa lesson will be more easy because of familiarity already or mas dali nila na familiarize and masabtan ang concept by the help of science song. So there is a tendency nga kanang maka-proceed na dayon ta sa next topic, no, unlike sa kanang pure lecture ra gyud. So usahay madugay ta. So there are two mechanisms in employing science songs sa atong students. It could be nga ato aga silang papamatayon o ganang mga recorded na nga songs or ato silang ipa-compose. So those are the ways in applying science songs. You may let the students listen to recorded audios just like we usually do, or what we usually observe in a demonstration wherein the teacher might show a lyric video deliberating a science concept, or you may let the students compose a jingle or a song from their own experience or understanding from a given topic. So understanding what happens when science music is implemented as a teaching strategy can be best explored through a constructivist approach, no, which is katong connected sa last slide nga ako ang gikuan. Um uh, so this is more in a constructivist approach in that because it attempts to gain understanding from experience through descriptions and interpretations, which with which knowledge can be constructed. Constructivism is based on the belief that knowledge is constructed from experience, understood through perceptions, and attempts to understand phenomena within the context within which they are studied. So yes, this strategy that I have chosen uses constructivism as the theoretical framework, no, because the perspectives of both students and teachers in the classroom where science songs were used became important to developing an explanation, description, and understanding of the phenomenon. Meaning is constructed by individuals or atoang students through interaction with their world, no, and cannot be separated from experience. Next, songs and science instruction. So, what are the basis in delivering a good instruction or lesson to the students? What are the number of points we should take into consideration when we give an instruction with this type of instruction or strategy? So, as you can see, there are four. First is the recommended characteristics begin with the importance of motivating our students and stimulating their interest in any new content that will be covered in a unit or in a set of lessons. So this can be done in a number of ways, including providing a real world context or asking an interesting question to our students that will spark their curiosity. Next is students bring a knowledge base to learning that is based on experiences that is important to understand as a new content is introduced. So, we will elicit or we will collect our students' prior knowledge so that some of because some of their ideas can help learning or yes can help learning. Next is students must be engaged intellectually with the content through experiences connected to the learning goals. So, di ba, we have our objectives. So, this can range from hands-on lab activities to and well-developed interactive lectures. So, kinahanglang engage sila sa lesson so that they will be more kanang the experience will be more kanang contextualized. So, lastly, the last element involves students participating in sense making activities designed to help them connect ideas and organize their new knowledge into existing frameworks, or the students participate in activity making. So, here are the steps in the composition of science song. So, first, you will have to group the students, then let them select a science concept. Then next step is you will let them choose a tune or develop a tune given an ample or amount of time, no? Sufficient amount of time. Then, yes, it will also need or it will also require a kanang taas-taas nga time for them to write the lyrics and gather informations no that are authentic or kanang based on facts. So, those are simply the steps in applying or in using science songs in sa ato ang students, no. So next is so here are the advantages of using science songs in our classroom. So first is this helps to regulate on task behavior during transition periods. Next, help students express themselves and become more open in the classroom. So, in this way nga ato ang strategy, so ma-enhance o ma-build ang ilang confidence no sa ilang self. Also, science songs acts as a tool for developing students to student and student-teacher relationships. Next is engages students in the content being covered because they have to really have that knowledge no before they can write or they can base um their songs nga kanang mahimo pud siyang factual, dili ra ilahang own opinion ang mahimong content sa ilahang song. Also, reduces feelings of anxiety and stress, which is mentioned a while ago. Lastly, it enhances the way children can process language and speech. So they can their listening skills will be more enhanced through listening and interpreting music that they have heard. Also, this improved memory, integrating music in the learning processes, no, involves a high level of memorization. So, ako nang na-mention a while ago. So, students must be able to read music by sight, kay need man nga kanang they have the sufficient amount of knowledge, no. Dili kay kanang mamati ra sad sila. So, they have to have that kanang read na sila in advance. So, they should also play the proper notes on their instrument of recall lyrics. So, this process benefits the overall memory center of our brain. Next is mental processing and problem solving skills are heightened. Also, lastly, for the advantages of science songs is that it enhances language capabilities of our students. Excuse. So, emerging evidence suggests that area of our brain controlling both musical ability and language comprehension are more related than previously thought. Music education requires students to recognize and repeat pitch, tone, or enunciation of words, especially in young children. No, music directly benefits the ability words, to learn words and speak them correctly, and process the many new sounds they have heard from others. So those are the number of ways that science songs have been an advantage or in a good benefit in return sa ato ano. And because there is an advantages, there is also a disadvantages in science songs. So most likely learners don't think songs are academic. So since we have a diverse group of students, so there are students who are kanang studious type, no. They tend to want to be more serious than be or than chose to be kanang more uh, kanang expose their side, no, nga kanang playful side. So some of them think that it is not an academic activity nga i-include ang music in learning, or not their type lang a learning style. So also some learners may not like the songs we have chosen. So it might be that the chosen song na atohang kanang gipapaminaw sa ila is dili catchy. Although sa ato is the lyrics is very kanang substantial, but the tune is not kanang catchy, or uh, dili siya or luya ang ihang kanang kuan. So mo na ato ang students, no, especially to high school students, they are more active, no. So dapat mas taasan na to ang level nga kana mo na mas if hyper sila dapat mas taas pud ang ato ang energy. So mo na dapat atong ihatag nga kind of kanang strategy pud so that they will learn effectively. Next is many songs many songs do not have clear pronunciation, or they have too much instrumental background and are difficult to understand. So unlike sa kaning second disadvantage, no, nga it may be lame for them or on their part sa kanina music. So usay sad there are songs or musical videos that are kanang mas kusog ang iyahang instrument kaysa sa kanang iyahang lyrics. Dili kayo nato kanang ma-absorb or dili nato siya dili kayo nato magets, especially kanang mga slang na ah, slang ang ilahang pagka-deliver sa song or so mo na no daghan kaayo sila lain-lain pud sila ways sa ilahang pagkanang deliver. Nga usahay the students kanang they have that difficulty in understanding the lyrics. So since it can be an advantage to enhance their listening skill, so disadvantage pud siya kay somehow our students cannot clearly listen or clearly understand sa kanang mga pronunciation nga ilahang ma-observe. So, next is the lyrics of some songs are not grammatically correct or too convoluted, thereby adding confusion to the language learner. So, I don't know if you have observed this no kanang sa kanang mga Bombay na kuan gani nga mga educational songs nga dili ta ka-relate although nice ang ilahang concept but dili ta ka-relate because there might be we encounter all grammatical errors mga inana no. So same with the students, so dili sila kanang maka-learn ana no. Or it could be that songs are too fast or too slow compared to normal speech. So that's why students will prefer nga lecture lang kay pwede nila ma-stop or although pwede man ma-stop ang music pero it is different when compared to a lecture or kanang discussion ra gyud. Unlike sa music nga naay upbeat, naapoy super slow. So, usahay ma-distract ang students mo na dili sila maka-learn. So, that is the last part of that is where my discussion ends. So, if you have questions or clarifications, just raise your hand or unmute yourself. So thank you so much for listening.